Let's get it. All right, so welcome back, guys. This is the second part to the three-part series of the ISL. If you guys missed week one or the first podcast that we did on ISL, just go back, watch that one, and then come back, and we'll be here. So we
Actually, just pause this right now. Go watch the other one. Just pause this. We'll wait. Do you think they will? Do you think they will? And you're back.
Week two. So what are we talking about today?
Today we're talking about those who are decided to not do ISL season 2 for reasons due to COVID, obviously. A lot of Australian swimmers have come out and announced that they're not going to be there. We're also going to talk about people who aren't in the ISL but need to be, that can be game changers who we want to see in the ISL. And then we're going to talk about what is it? Oh, sleepers, people to look out for season 2. Since there's going to be a lot of people that have announced that they're not going to be in it, there are going to be people on the come up filling their spots that you may not know about, but you are going to learn about them. So we're going to talk about those people and just to look out for these guys because they're sleepers, they're game changers. They're gonna be on the come up for season 2. But yeah, we'll also week 3 we'll predict winners and stuff like that, who the top 4 teams we think will be in the finals, and then who we think will win finals. We'll talk about relays, we'll talk about men's and women's MVPs and stuff like that. So follow us on Instagram. We'll probably be giving not live, but we'll post updates on who we think will be the winners are, because we can say it now, but there could be a lot of changes as people start to travel. Some people might have to quarantine. Some people might drop out last minute. But these are based off of the current rosters and what we know, who we think will win it. But obviously, as ISL gets closer and they start going through week by week, we'll give better updates on who we think will win finals. We'll talk about who will win, like the meets leading up to finals and stuff like that. But man, we are super excited about it. We're gonna subscribe to it right away. We're gonna pay for it. We're gonna watch every single meet. So follow us on Instagram. We might go live on there and do that, but we'll be posting a lot of that of ISL on our Instagram. So follow us. That's what it is. It's a sneeze.
It's a sneeze. Just sneeze into your mic.
It is the Splash Pad Podcast. Yep. Actually, it's not it's just Splash Pad Podcast. No spaces, all lowercase. Let's jump right into it.
Let's do it.
Okay, there was a big announcement on the 16th of September of a lot of Australian swimmers who came out and said that they were not going to be joining ISL Season 2. Lots of big names. We all know Australia has a really, really, really good team. I think they are the second best team, national team.
Okay.
Right? What's another one? Great Britain is there. Canada. But Great Britain doesn't have a strong women's team, and then Canada doesn't have a strong men's team.
Okay.
France has had a strong men's team, kind of tapered off a little bit now,
right.
But they don't have a good women's team.
Right.
China and Japan's always there, but they don't have good relays. Right?
Australia. I think they're a powerhouse for sure, but they're more well-rounded.
Yeah.
They're more well-rounded team.
But name another team that can compete with the U.S.
Australia.
That's it, right? That's what I'm saying. Okay, so, but it's kind of, it sucks to not see these swimmers there, because they're all great swimmers, and their teams are going to suffer just a little bit.
Right.
So most notably, on London Roar's team, Kyle Chalmers announced that he's not going to do it due to injuries. However, Kate Campbell, Bronte Campbell, Emma McKeon, Mina Atherton, Holly Barrett, Alex Graham, Matt Wilson, and Elijah Winnington have announced that they are not doing it.
That's some big names.
That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 on London Roar.
That's 9. But they're also big names.
Yes, Kyle Chalmers, that's a huge one. The Campbell sisters, yeah, that's a big drop right there. Elijah Winnington,
dude. Mina Atherton,
dude.
Wasn't there third Bronte or third Campbell sister?
I don't know.
Kate Bronte and question mark.
And then Mina Atherton. She was their number one scorer. She was ranked third. She's ranked third on the ISL ranking list. So
Would
that's
I
gonna
rank her
be
third? No.
that's gonna be a big drop. Emma McKeon's ranked 10. Kate Campbell's ranked 11. How she's ranked 11, I don't know. Chalmers is ranked 20. Let's see, where's Elijah Winnington's ranked 70. Alex Graham 72. So that, yeah, it's gonna be. Holly Barrett is ranked 73. Yeah, it's gonna be a big hit for them. It's gonna be tough for sure. Bronte Campbell, what is she rank? 177. That's okay. That's okay.
Okay, I do want to say though, yes, they lost. What is that? Nine swimmers.
Yeah.
A lot of them big names,
Mm-hmm.
but that's just an opportunity for these other younger up and coming swimmers to get their opportunity to put their name out there and to blow up. There's people on there that are pretty small right now, but once this starts, I believe there will be some swimmers out there
You'll be
on
like,
London Roar.
man, who's that Jeremy Fung kid? I've never heard of him, but he's super good.
Yeah, so there's people on here,
Anna Hopkins is
Anna
one of
Hopkins,
them.
Andres Vizayos,
Vinny Lanza.
Adam Peaty. I never heard of that guy before, but
Who'd you say?
Adam Peaty, Adam Peaty.
Who's that?
He's ranked 35th, but I never heard of him before.
Oh, then he's not good, bro.
Oh,
Ranked
yeah.
35th?
No, yeah,
Oh,
for sure.
what are you talking
I mean,
about?
they still have Marie Waddle.
Dude, they got
Pagoda,
Vinny Lanza, bro. If you don't know
Duncan
who
Scott.
Vinny Lanza is, you're gonna learn today.
James Guy,
Mm-hmm.
Marius Kush.
Mm-hmm.
They still got a pretty strong team. Anna Hopkins.
Will they compete?
I'm just saying that opens up a lot of opportunities for these guys.
I don't know. Stick around for part 3. We'll talk about that. And then most notably for Kylie Condors, they have lost a few players as well. Mitch Larkin, Ariana Titmus, Jack Cartwright, Meg Harris, and Clyde Lewis. So that's 5 swimmers right there. Mitch Larkin, right, for their mid-distance. Ariana Titmus, that's tough. Jack Cartwright, Clyde Lewis, and free. And then Meg Harris. But the thing is, Kylie Condors have like a really strong, they have great depth, and then they picked up a good amount of people as well. Why I can't find the roster right now, I don't know. And of course, it's on the very bottom. But I mean, they still got Dressel, of course. I mean, ranked number 1, you can't ever go wrong with that. But they've also picked up Beta Nelson, Erica Brown, Coleman Stewart. They have Justin Rest, Tate Jackson, Tommy Haas, which in the last episode we talked about them just needing to pick it up for them on ISL too. Especially with losing these players, there's going to be more pressure on them to perform better. So I think they're losing really great swimmers, but they're still competing. They're still competing for sure. Definitely still a great team. The New York Breakers will be missing Molly O'Callahan and Abby Harkin as well, which is a tough loss for them because the New York Breakers already don't have the strongest team,
right?
But
they're also one of the smallest teams.
Yeah. And we're talking about, hey, this team is kind of on the come up, bro. But I mean, they picked up James Wilby, they got Ustinova, Zirkova, Jance Witkowski. I mean, it's still a strong team. They're missing 2 swimmers, but which is a tough hit for their depth. But I still think, no, you know what? I'm gonna save that. I'm gonna save that for part 3. Now some notable coaches that aren't gonna be there are Boxall, coach for the Cali Condors, and 2 coaches for the London Roar, Peter Bishop and David Lush. It was Swimming World Magazine that interviewed Rob Woodhouse, and he talked about this and the reason why a lot of the Australian swimmers aren't going to be there. He said it's the uncertainties of the travel itself, the health and safety issues, and getting back into the country. Because it is so hard to get flights and potentially having to stay away with quarantine, and the final may not be until December. There are so many unknowns. And so they talk about Australia's got really strict guidelines for COVID, even though they have like not a lot of cases compared to America, obviously. But I think that's why they don't have a lot of cases, because they have very, very, very strict guidelines and rules on COVID, and trying to make sure not only like these athletes but the whole country is staying safe during this time. And so they talk a lot about how, okay, it's an Olympic year, right? So you got to leave to go to Budapest to compete, and something that definitely has the uncertainties of like, okay, it's not, maybe a bunch of people, there's a breakout and the whole thing has to shut down, blah 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 blah. And then not only that, but then coming back, and then when they come back, they have to quarantine for 2 weeks, right? And for a lot of these people, they're on teams that can compete in the finals, right? And so if finals aren't until December, they come back in January, have to quarantine for 2 weeks, and they can't practice, they can't go to the pool, they can't leave their house, they can't do anything other than just like exercising in their house, right? And we all know that's not going to help in an Olympic year, right? That's like 6-7 months away from the Olympics. Well, that's like the time that they're picking up their training and they're really dialing it in for the Olympics. And so that's like, I understand it. I get it that they're like the coming back part and training for the Olympics. It's an Olympic year. That's like for swimming, that's the biggest stage, bigger than ISL, way bigger than ISL. You talk about anybody who doesn't know swimming, and that's all they watch is the Olympics. So this is the biggest stage for swimming. So I understand like wanting to like dial in and focus just on that.
Right.
And to me that's like, wow, like money doesn't really matter for swimmers.
No.
Like swimmers will suffer to like not make money but focus on the Olympics, right? Any other sport, it's like, oh no, I'm playing money. I need the money. I need the money. And it's like
out because you won't give me a contract.
Exactly, yeah. But for swimmers, it's like, no, they are dialed in. They're focused on the Olympics. So honestly, like I respect it, and definitely the uncertainties of like being in like a bubble per se in Budapest. Like the NBA has been doing a great job with that, and if ISL can kind of follow in those footsteps, I think like I don't think there's going to be any problems, right? Because the NBA like they haven't had anybody test positive.
No, I don't
And
believe
the
so.
moment somebody leaves the bubble, like they quarantine for 2 weeks.
Right.
It doesn't matter if they're missing games, a playoff game, like anything. Like they're missing 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Or they kicked out that guy on the Rockets.
Oh, Daniel House Jr.
Yeah, they kicked him out because they left the bubble. They were like,
he brought people in.
Oh, he brought people
to
in?
the bubble, yeah.
And they kicked him out?
Yeah.
So if they have like strict rules and guidelines on that with the ISL, I think they'll be fine, right? Like the NBA is doing a great job of that in Florida, and Florida is like one of the states with the top 3 amounts of cases.
Yeah.
And being in Budapest, being in a little bubble, only where the athletes are, everybody who comes in and out needs to be tested, going through like a big protocol regulation to like even be around the athletes. Like I think if they're following good guidelines like that, I think that they'll be fine.
Yeah.
But of course, there's always the uncertainties, right? Somebody just being dumb and then just doing something doesn't get reported, and everybody, there's like a breakout and everybody gets COVID and everybody has to quarantine, and then they can't even finish ISL season 2, which would be unfortunate. And I guess those are the things that you kind of have to like weigh out, right? Like, okay, this is a possibility of it happening, and so I just have to like think of those and weigh it out. Is it worth it and stuff like that? So, I respect their decision, focusing on the Olympics. It's unfortunate to see for ISO because those are big name swimmers that were big for the teams that they're on. But again, I mean, you gotta respect that.
Right.
You gotta respect that.
I respect you.
Now another person, I don't know why. Who is he? His name's Cody Miller. Cody Miller. Do you know who that is? I wasn't sure who this was when they kind of announced it. Apparently, it was a big deal. He was like, "Oh, my wife is pregnant, and I'm not going to ISL." And people were like, "Oh no!" I was like,
I mean, congrats. But
who is this person?
I don't know.
Have you heard of him?
I know he lives in Indiana. He went to IU.
IU.
Third place in the 100 breast, 2016 Olympics.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
He was on the last relay with Michael Phelps, won gold in the medley relay. But yeah, never heard of this guy. Yeah, I don't know who he is.
No, honestly, shout out Cody Miller. Congrats to you, man. And another podcast, I was wearing his shirt that he actually bought for me.
Yep.
We love Cody Miller and watch all your vlogs. As soon as it comes out, like every Wednesday, because he's in Indiana and it comes out at like 6 or something like that. And I'm like up at 4, like I'll stay up and watch it, even if it's 10-20 minutes. But we're big fans. Love the vlogs, love the videos. Congrats to you guys. And again, it's like one of those unfortunate cases, but like, I mean, dude, he's starting a family, and you gotta respect that. Like, he can't go somewhere, get COVID, come back, and then he's got a brand new baby, and his wife. Like, if his wife gets COVID, like, there goes the health of the baby and her, and stuff like that. So he's really looking out for his family, his child, and his wife, and I honestly respect that.
Yeah, there's more cons than pros of going to ISL for him.
Exactly. All right. These next people are people who are not currently in the ISL, who we think should be in the ISL, but for reasons unknown. Like, we don't know why they're not doing it. We haven't interviewed these people. There hasn't been anything like released about it, why they're not in it. But I mean, there could be. I don't know. I really don't know. But we just like saw that they weren't on any of these rosters, and we were like, yo, they were really good. Like, they could be game changers for some of these teams.
Yeah.
Especially teams that like need, right in the last episode, where like they need that player who just like gets them the points that they can just lean on to like to get points for their teams.
Yeah. And some of these people are it.
The first one, Ryan Held.
Ryan Held. Big name right there.
In 2019, he had the third fastest 100 free.
Yeah.
Swam on the winning 4x100 relay with Dressel, Phelps, and Adrian. And he's like a sleeper. He's one of those guys that like.
I was about to say that.
He's one of those guys that like nobody really knows about.
Right.
Because he doesn't compete in a lot of international meets, especially when China was having that World Cup series over there. He didn't compete in any of that. But he did the Phillips 66 Nationals, and then he like demolished the field and was like the second fastest time in the world or something like. Actually, don't quote me on that, but like one of the fastest times in the world.
Yeah. I was about to say that. Like, he was not a big name for other people, but to us, we know a lot about him.
Yeah. And, not a lot of people like.
I was about to say, if he was on a team, he would be a sleeper for us.
Yeah, but third fastest 100 free, great for scans. You could do the 100 free, you could do the 2 free. Like, he's a really great swimmer. And definitely could be game changer for one of these teams. But yeah, another one is.
Can I say? This is my all-time favorite college swimmer. I'm gonna say that now. He's my all-time favorite college swimmer.
Of all time?
Of all time.
Okay.
Of all time. His name? Dean Ferris.
Jeremy Fung.
No, not Jeremy Fung.
Oh.
Dean Ferris.
Dean Ferris.
I'll give you some reasons why he's my favorite.
Number one. Wait. If you know who Dean Ferris is, put that in the comments. If you know who he is, if you know what college he swims for, put that down in
there. What college he swims for?
But I just want to know if anybody knows who he is.
So you don't want me to
say but before he says it, just put it in the comments who he swims for, who he is, what events he swims. If you know anything about him, put it down below.
All right. So this is why he's my favorite college swimmer of all time. Number one, he's 9 feet tall. All right.
9 feet 2.
9 feet 2. No, he's like 6'8", right? So like 6'8", 6'7". He swims for Harvard. Harvard.
And he carries that.
He hard carries. Not a single guy on their team like is good except for Dean. He also broke 130 in the 200 free, but then decided
the third ever to
ever do it.
Yep.
And he decided not to do the 200 free. He was like, it's too easy. Why should I do it when I know I'm gonna get first? So he instead swam the 100 back. And everyone's like, 100 back? Dean, what are you doing? You have an automatic first. Like, he's going up against the fastest people in the nation. Destroys them anyway. Gets first. Just destroys everybody. It wasn't even a competition. It was like one of the fastest performances since Ryan Murphy. It was crazy. But yeah, that's why he's my favorite. He redshirted his senior year to train for the Olympics with Texas.
That was supposed to be this year.
But with everything in COVID. But yeah, that's why he's my favorite. And I'm sad to not see him in this ISL, but he's got a bright future, I believe, and we'll be seeing his name for decades. For not only the ISL, not international swimming,
multiple decades.
in the Olympics too. I have him high up there on my board for the Olympics. So
Absolutely. Another one that, like, his name is starting to get lost. Joseph Schooling.
okay, Joseph Schooling.
Right?
Right. I haven't heard that name as much since the 2016 Olympics.
That's what I'm saying.
But like, look at him now though. Like,
What do you mean? What do you gotta say
he's
about
not. He's just not swimming up to par of what he did.
What do you gotta say about my guy Joe Schooling? Huh?
I'm just saying, like,
Why you gotta do
2016
it like that,
Olympics,
man?
like,
Why you
he
gotta do it
beat
like
Michael Phelps, and
That was
everyone's like,
2012
oh,
Olympics.
2012 Olympics. That's even worse, man. 2012 Olympics, like, what was he, like, 17, whatever?
I don't know.
He was still, like, a teenager, beats Michael Phelps. He's supposed to be, like,
So for Singapore.
Singapore, right? And he's supposed to, destroy Michael Phelps, break every record he ever had in the fly. Just look at him now.
Right.
He chose to swim in college, and that's what
Okay,
ruined
in
it for him.
2019, I think he was a top 15 time. I think he was actually at 15th. Could be 25th. It's one of the fives. But, like, that's still good.
I mean, it's still good, but, like,
15 is still making a
How
B
are you gonna beat Michael Phelps and then only be top 15 or top 25 after that? I'm just saying.
No, but he's still really good depth in fly.
Right, he would
For
be
100
good,
fly,
yeah.
2 fly. Even if he's not a top swimmer right now for fly, maybe he won't make the A relay 14, but he's definitely a good B relay swimmer for where he's at right now. But I think he could do it. I think he could make another year, and I think he could really crush it. I'm just saying.
Well,
I'm just saying.
he's definitely gonna make another year because he swims for Singapore, and not a lot of people. swim
But
for
he's gonna make the
Singapore.
finals again. I think
the finals.
Yes, I think so, dude. Bro, you're sleeping on Joseph Schooling.
Okay, all right. Prove me wrong.
Joseph
Joseph Schooling, if you're watching, prove me wrong right now.
Bro, he's gonna
calling
finish, and he's gonna finish first, and he's gonna be like, yeah, that's right, Jordan. That's right.
Joseph Schooling, how was that race? I told you, Jordan.
I told you. Splash Pad Podcast, I told you.
And he's like, what?
Now, probably one of the biggest names on here.
Okay.
That isn't in the ISL.
Okay, let me look at
Katie Ledecky.
Katie Ledecky.
That's
kind of sad.
What are you doing out here, huh? What's going on? Why aren't you in the ISL?
That's kind of sad.
What? I mean, like, I know you just win everything anyways.
I don't think the ISL does the mile or anything, right? I think the highest it goes is 800.
I think so. But, I mean, she's still, like, that's still guaranteed first place. That's still points. That's still points. I mean, Adam Peaty only swims one event, the 100 breaststroke, and they still have him on there. It destroys everything. It's guaranteed.
Still 35th.
Guaranteed points. You know what I mean? So same with Katie Ledecky, like, just guaranteed points.
Right.
Another one, Simone Manuel.
She's like my third favorite swimmer
Yeah, dude.
of all time. So
One of the best sprint freestyler in America, in the U.S. right now.
Right.
For the American team. She was ranked in 2019. She was the fastest 100 freestyle time and the third fastest 50 free time. And, I mean, that's long course in the ISO swim short course meters, but I mean, she's still a great short course yards swimmer. She swam college. I mean, short course yards, but it's still short course regardless. Like, she could be a game changer for a lot of these teams at depth to the relays, skins races, like all of that. Like, she'd be like pretty much great for ISL, I think. Another one is Taylor Ruck. Taylor Ruck. 100 free, 200 free. She can do backstroke. She was ranked 7th in the 100 free in 2019. Another one of those people who could potentially like be the face of the team.
Right.
Score a lot of points for them, swim in a lot of different events. Rely on them on relays, maybe be a skins racer. Like, she'd also be another great swimmer for something like the ISL.
Right. Yeah, I'm glad she's a backstroke freestyler, because have you seen how tall she is, dude?
Yeah, dude, she's pretty tall.
She swam. It was like her senior year when I was like a sophomore in high school. I was like, Taylor Ruck, Taylor.
Those are just the American swimmers, the like top American swimmers that we know that are like that aren't in the ISL.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we mainly follow a lot of the American swimmers, and we know that very Pretty well, very well.
Very well.
But as for like international swimmers and all that, we're not the best in. We like know the top swimmers for sure. But like as you get past like the top three, maybe five, it's like we don't know who these people are.
Yeah.
But for the Netherlands, there is Arno Kaminga. He was the fifth fastest in the 100 breaststroke in 2019. Don't know a lot about Arno, but being the fifth fastest in the 100 breaststroke, not being in the ISL, I think that'd be a great pickup. There's a lot of great breaststrokers in the ISL right now.
Yeah.
Kevin Cordes, Cody Miller's unfortunately not doing it, but they got Ian Finnerty, James Wilby, Adam Peaty. Did I say Adam Peaty?
No.
Oh, I didn't say Adam Peaty? Oh.
No.
And then who's Josh? No, not Josh. Wilson, Andrew Wilson. Andrew Wilson. There's a lot of great breaststrokers, but you could definitely add a lot of depth to a program, especially when you get two people for 100 breaststroke, 200 breaststroke, and then relays as well. Be good for them. For France, there's Mehdi Matella, fourth fastest in the 100 fly in 2019. There's Matt Horton, which he swims for Australia, and there's not a lot of Australians going to season 2, but I don't think he even swam in season 1. And he'd be great for the 400, 800, potentially maybe even the 200 as well. Those would be good points for that. And then probably most notably, Efimova. Second fastest 100 breaststroke in 2019.
Right.
Great breaststroker. I mean, everybody should know who she is. She's been swimming for a long time. One of the best breaststrokers in the world.
Right.
Competes with Lily King and
the only one that could actually compete with Lily King.
Yeah. 100 breaststroke, 200 breaststroke, especially with on the women's side in the ISL. Breaststroke's really just Lily King. Like Efimova could really push a team in the breaststroke group and be guaranteed points. Well, not guaranteed, but like be really good points for them and stuff like that. So,
and if you don't know who she is, she's always in a pink suit
with a
bright pink suit.
Yep,
with a bright pink cap. I can't speak English.
And then I'm sure there's a bunch of others that aren't in the ISL. I think they're bringing like 150, maybe 200 athletes in total or something like that. I mean, let's see if there's 25 on each team, do you think?
They're letting 30
on each team. 30 on each team with 10 teams? That's about
10.
Oh, yeah, 10 teams. So it's about 300 plus coaches and managers and all that. So maybe like roughly around there. And obviously there's way more swimmers than that. But we were just thinking of, hey, like we know this swimmer, we know they're a top swimmer, and they're not in the ISL.
Yeah.
So if there's any other notable swimmers that you guys know of that aren't in the ISL, drop that below in the comments. We'd like to know anybody else who could be a game changer for
anybody
not just the ISL, but for teams and stuff like that. Okay, moving on to sleepers, people that you may not know of that you definitely should know of, especially with the Cali Condors and London Roar missing some people on their teams. There's going to be people on their teams that are going to really like shine for them, and if you don't know them now, you're probably going to know them after ISL season 2, if you're going to watch ISL season 2, which you should. But yes, so the first one that I have on my kind of like sleepers or should watch list is Duncan Scott. Now I've talked about Duncan Scott in the past. I believe it was in the previous Olympics 2016. Great Britain had a great lead on us in the 4x100, and then I believe it was Nathan Adrian comes back and beats him.
Yeah.
And then in the 2019 World Championships, they were swimming against us again in the 4x100, and they were behind coming in, and he dropped a 46-1, I believe. 46-1, and it was the second fastest time in history.
Yeah.
And Duncan Scott against Nathan Adrian.
Again.
So that guy was like, I'm not going to have a repeat of 2016.
Yeah.
I'm going to get after it. And the guy drops a 46-1. Young guy. He's great. He does the IM as well, which I just found out today. But great sprint freestyler and IM as well. Somebody you may not know is Mark Nikolaev. But we talked about him in our last episode, so maybe you know him from that. But he swims for Russia. Great backstroker, Sanford GCU. Obviously, we talked about that. And he's great in the 100, 200, swims the 200 IM as well. And for us, because we didn't have a lot of depth in freestyle, like he swam on all of our relays too.
Yeah.
But great swimmer. I don't know how well he is like in long course, but I know short course. I mean, he was absolutely crushing it for us. But who knows? He could be on the come up for. Do you remember which team he's on? I think it's New York Breakers, isn't it?
That's a good question. Mark Lowe.
Mark Lowe? Oh, no, it's Office Insurance, is it? Mark, which team do you swim for? Mark Nikolaev.
He's not on the London Roar or Cali Condors. I don't believe he's on the LA Fair either.
No. Oh, is it DC Tridents? I know it was one of the teams that didn't make finals. Yeah. DC Tridents. And let's see. I mean, DC Trident. They got for backstroke. They got Tristan Hollard. And they got Jacob Headley, who's a good backstroker as well. But I mean, maybe he'll take a Tristan spot. I don't know.
Yeah.
I know he's a really good backstroker, good depth for them. Can swim the 200, can swim the IM as well.
Mm-hmm.
So he'll be great. Look out for him on DC Tridents.
Yep.
Another one I have, Vinny Lanza. The only reason why I actually know about him is because of Cody Vitter, because of his vlogs with IU, and that's who he swam for. It was IU. Great butterflyer. I think the ISL is a great way to get his name out there, and for people to start recognizing him. But do you know what place he finished in for NC's?
Yeah, he finished first in the 100 fly.
Yeah, 100 fly.
Yeah.
Vinny Lanza.
Look
out for that.
Dude, if you ever watch him swim after, just huge dude, gets so hyped.
Yeah.
So hyped.
Yeah.
And he's also Brazilian, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
He's Brazilian.
And he's swimming for the London Roar, which would be great for him because they're going to be missing a few people as well. So maybe he'll get some more swimming time and more events and stuff like that.
I say Brazil's got a pretty good national team.
That's true.
I think they got a really good
Stace Arcielo, Bruno Fratus, yeah. Okay. Mary Waddle is on the come up for London Roar because they are missing. What was I saying? Mary Waddle.
Mary Waddle.
Where are you, Mary Waddle? Why did I say it like that? Do you know why I said it like that?
I don't know why I said that.
Was it London Roar? Or did she swim for another team? Man, I got mine on wrong one. Oh yeah, Mary Waddle, because she does sprint free and sprint fly, and as we know, Bronte Campbell and Kate Campbell aren't in it. Emma McKeon, so she'll probably be one of those people who will come up for the sprint free for them, and probably take over for their skins, and be their number one option for their free. And then Freya Anderson is another one that they picked up this year, I'm pretty sure. Freya Anderson. Oh, no, she swam for them last year. But she's young. She's a young swimmer. Swims for Great Britain, and she's definitely on the come up as well. And then definitely like losing swimmers like Kate Campbell, obviously, right? Like you're gonna have to have somebody fill in that spot. I think Freya Anderson is gonna be a great swimmer for that. Definitely on the come up for Great Britain too, and especially like having another year for Olympics. She's gonna have another year to train with Anna Hopkins for Great Britain. I mean, they're slowly coming together for a solid team. But we're talking ISL. What are we doing? What are you doing, man? What are you doing?
I just started talking, and I don't know what happened.
Coleman Stewart is somebody that you may not know.
Sleeper
for sure.
Sleeper.
If you don't know what event he swims, You'll learn. I'm not even gonna tell you. I'm not just watch ISL. You'll know.
Watch for the
You'll know what he
skinniest dude ever.
You'll know what he swims because he'll like touch the wall and you'll just see Coleman Stewart and then you'll be like, oh, that's who he is and that's what event it is. Dennis Rapsey is okay. He's not like a sleeper because he didn't swim last season, but he just joined ISL season 2, and obviously if you don't know who he is, you should know who he is. He's a great IMer. I believe he was ranked or had the third fastest time in 2019 for IM. But yeah, if you don't know who he is, you should. But like, he like shouldn't be a sleeper, but because he's new, it's like okay, look out for this guy.
Yeah.
And then Santos for the Centurions. He's going to be great for them. Andrei Govorov for the Toronto Titans.
For Andrei Govorov, a beast in the sprints, man.
Giant guy.
He's giant. He will guarantee a final every single time. Every time.
Louise Hansen. And she's not like a sleeper because they just picked her up, but she's like one of those people that you should know about. But where it's like she's gonna be a game changer for that team. Maxime Rooney and Zane Waddle for the LA Current.
Okay.
They're both new pickups, but these are bigger names.
No,
they're not like Louise Hansen and Adonis Rapsey's. Like
these are
not a lot of people
college,
know who Maxime Rooney is.
Right.
Not a lot of people know who Zane Waddle is, but they swim for LA Current, and you're gonna know who they are. Maxime Rooney's great swimmer in the 100 free, 200 free, and you'll know who he is by the end of season 2. And then Abby Weitzel and Alyssa Marsh. I believe they swim for. Is it Condors?
Yeah, honestly, I think there's a lot of young swimmers straight out of college this year going into the ISL that could be sleepers not only to the viewers but to the other swimmers, right?
Yeah,
because they're new to the international stage.
Yeah, especially like with the Olympics being this year, it's like, oh, I wasn't watching out for this person before, but hey, they're kind of good, and it's like, dang, there's more competition than I thought.
Yeah, a lot of young talent this year, I believe.
Yeah, okay, so they swim for LA Current. Abby Weitzel and Alyssa Marsh. Abby Weitzel's a great pickup, great American sprint freestyler, just graduated. Berkeley. She just graduated from there. I mean, if you don't know who she is, she's a great sprint freestyler. She'll be great for skins for the LA Current because I believe they don't really have anybody who like on the girls' side is like swimming skins for them in the 50 free. Yeah. So she'll be great for them. Alyssa Marsh just graduated from Duke, and she can swim a lot of different events as well. So look out for these names. I mean, there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people that we probably missed that are sleepers for sure. But these are kind of the names and the people that are like, damn, like they just joined. They're gonna be great game changers and. It's like, oh man, not a lot of people know about these guys. Right. They don't get talked about enough. And so we were just like, let's bring awareness to these guys because they're going to kill it this season.
Yeah. I think one person that I saw or didn't see that isn't in the ISL this year or season 1 who has made a pretty good comeback, Ryan Lochte. Ryan Lochte.
That's true.
Right. He's made an incredible comeback. 4 IM, 2 IM. Put him anywhere.
Bro, we missed
Ryan Lochte,
dude. Oh, no.
I think he's a game changer for sure on any team you put him on.
Oh, yeah. So easily.
And like having that older veteran kind of guy teaching these younger swimmers as well.
Bro, that's so true, though. Ryan Lochte. Oh, we missed that. I missed that one, dude. Yeah, dude, that's true. Ryan Lochte is going to be great. He's been swimming a lot lately. Definitely on the come up for 100 back, 200 back, 2 IM, 4 IM, 100 free, 200 free. I mean, guy can swim it all. Yeah, that's true. He can swim. He can swim it all. But another one that I just thought about is Anthony Irvin. Ooh. I mean, I don't know if he's still swimming.
He's like 83 years old, but
he's not 83. But like, I don't know if he's still swimming. But there are a lot of people who are doing the ISL that like have like retired, who haven't just like been around swimming for a while, that are doing it now because of ISL.
Yeah.
For example, like Santos, Brea Larson, Florent
Larson.
Manadou, Beefy Shields, like these people who may not be like competing for the Olympics and the spot on Olympic team and stuff like that, but like with the ISL now, it's like, oh, there's money involved, and it's like, okay, like I can keep I can keep swimming for money. So Anthony Irvin's like another one of those guys that like, hey, you know,
Definitely.
and was Leah Neal? Is she on a roster?
Leah Neal.
Is she on a roster, dude?
I don't believe she's on a roster.
Dude, Leah Neal's another
Leah
one, bro.
Neal.
Another
She would
great
have been a
American,
sleeper too.
another great American sprint freestyler that a lot of people don't.
Been a sleeper.
A lot of people don't know about. I mean, a lot of American swimmers should know who Leah Neal is, but not well internationally. She was swimming in a lot of international meets, but I don't remember seeing her on a roster, dude.
Yeah, maybe.
So Leah Neal's like another one of those swimmers where it's like, ooh, she could be a game changer for one of these teams. Especially like for relays, adding just more depth to a relay.
Yeah.
Another person who can just come out, make some money swimming for ISL. Dude, Ryan Lochte, Anthony Irvin, Leah Neal. Man, we missed a lot of people.
Michael Phelps.
Dude,
he could have came in. Game changer.
Dude.
I bet. Just give him like 2 weeks. He'll be in top shape.
He's not swimming for the Olympics.
He said, the Olympics. I didn't say ISL.
He could. I mean, the guy's got money up the butt. But,
and 2 kids.
I guess he doesn't really need to, but.
That would have been. Cool.
Hey, let us know if you guys want to see Michael Phelps in the ISL, because that low key be kind of cool.
Yeah,
that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah,
to see him just like, I mean, and it's short course, like, you know, like it wouldn't be too taxing on him and like how old he is, and he's really not even that old. Like, whatever. There's swimmers who have been older than him and whatever, but I can understand like he's been training years and years and years for this, but with short course, like I don't know, it could be a little little better. I don't know.
Dude, imagine if Maya Dorada never retired though. She would still be in here.
Oh my gosh, she just did the Olympics and then was gone.
She was like, peace. After the Olympics, peace, I'm out.
I think the ISO would have been great back in like
2000.
08 to 2012.
Yeah.
Man.
There were some strong swimmers back then. Missy Franklin.
Sad to see it. But that's it for us, guys, for part 2. We just wanted to talk more about the swimmers within each teams. After we talked about all of the teams, now we want to talk about specific swimmers and stuff like that. Now we'll jump back into the teams with the swimmers and talk about who the top 4 going to finals, who we think will win finals, MVPs. We'll talk about relays and stuff because that's really big. We'll talk about skins because that's really big in the ISL. And then I think that's it.
Yeah.
Let us know if you guys want to see anything specific that I didn't just list off that you guys want to hear us talk about for part 3, because we'd love to talk about it. But yeah, look out for part 3 next week.
Yeah.
And if you enjoyed this one, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and let us know in the comments. All right?
Awesome.
Appreciate it, guys.
See you guys later.
See ya.